Well, certainly very, very excited about the rivalry game tomorrow night in our building. I'm hearing there's almost 15,000 tickets sold already, which is amazing. That is becoming somewhat of the norm. Very proud of just everybody, to be able to build this to that. New Mexico State lost to Abilene Christian last game. They've played a tough schedule. They've had some close games. They're physical. They're tough. So we know we're going to get their best shot. I mean, you looked at last year, played them twice, I think back to back, which might have been a game between, I don't remember, but one big here, and then it was down to the wire there. So anything can happen. I know how important it is to both fan bases. It'll be business as usual with our approach to the game, but certainly a phenomenal opportunity in our building, and excited about it.
What do you see with New Mexico State that presents problems? I know they got a big guy playing pretty well most of the season. He was with them last year most of the year. But he's back there. It seems like they got a good big guy and a couple good guards. But what do you?
Yeah, I would just say size, strength, physicality. When you watch them play, I think Coach Hooten is certainly trying to establish the way they want to play, which is physical. Defensively, foul a decent amount, similar to like a UTEP. And I don't think he minds that necessarily. I think he wants to be the aggressor and be physical. So just the physicality component for sure could be one of the more challenging of our games thus far.
I know asking you this before this game certainly implies comparison, but they're going through a rebuild. He's now in year 2 of his rebuild, and they had one heck of a rebuild to start with. You had quite the rebuild here. I think you turned things around in a manner and a speed which people just assume that the transfer portal makes all this easy. And he's going through a much different rebuild. It's going to take a lot longer and some more patience. What do you think about how the transfer portal maybe makes fans think that these rebuilds happen so quick?
100%. I went into year 1 with wins and losses really being irrelevant in my mind. But I do believe that fans think you can turn it quickly. Sure, you can get a lot of players very fast. But in order to kind of establish whatever it is you're trying to do, that does take time. I was fortunate to have a guy like Mashburn who had played for me come in and be one of our best players in year 2. We obviously hit on a Jalen House very, very early in the process. So it is not, no coach wants to bring in 10, 11, 12 guys every single year and think that that's the recipe for winning. But fans think it's easy. They do. And sometimes you can maybe add a starting 5 that's good, but you can't get the depth. It's a lot harder than people realize to recruit when the people don't know who's in the program, And so not to say that it was easy by any means, but our arc, so to speak, was really, really ideal. The first 3 years went about as good as it could. Year 1, we beat a ranked team in Wyoming. We had some good talent in the program. Year 2, we took a step up, got the fans, sold some games out, went to the postseason with the NIT. Then year 3, championship and the tournament, NCAA tournament. But it is different for everybody. And the component of NIL is substantially more important than it's ever been in a rebuild. I don't know what theirs is by any means, but that matters. So Coach Hooten will get it going. I hope they play like crap tomorrow, but it's not as easy to turn it around as I think fans think it is.
First of all, how's CJ's?
He's good. He worked out yesterday. We did some skill work. We didn't do any physicality yesterday. We did some free throws and some film watching. But I would expect him to go. Atiki dislocated his thumb in the middle of the game. Actually, he was giving us great minutes. So we'll try to splint it up and see what he can give us. And we'll see today and then kind of evaluate that for tomorrow. Not sure yet.
Did Tiki play after that, or was he done?
No, he was done. Did he play in the second half? I think he was done. Yeah, he was done after that.
This rivalry lost a couple games to the pandemic and then 2 to the off-the-court stuff. Now you're down to 1 game a year. Does that remove some of the heat from this rivalry?
No, I actually think it's a good thing. I mean, I've always been pro playing once a year. I mean, I don't think anybody made the decision because of me. I think both administrations made that decision, and it's a 2-year deal. So who knows if it goes back? I know it's a big rivalry and all, but nobody else does that. I think in the country, and it's just easier for scheduling. I still think the impact of the game can be immense if you play once a year. I love playing it opposite of football, like we're doing this year as well. So I mean, it's nothing's been diminished, as you could tell that we've already sold 15,000 tickets in a non-conference game where in all of college basketball, all you do is turn on your TV and there's a lot of empty gyms, so we certainly understand how important it is.
I'm curious, Filip obviously had a pretty good game. The rise back to maybe what you guys expected or had hoped for anyway, maybe not expected but hoped for when you made him a starter to start the year. Is Filip doing now kind of what you guys saw and maybe thought he was going to be?
Yeah, there was just a timidness offensively that I think we saw. Maybe it was nerves, maybe it was just new surroundings. I don't really know, but he belonged last game. I think the UCLA game, he had 7 rebounds as well. Like, that's why we brought him here, was we need a big guard who can be tough and attack and have that shot fake on the right side. He drives it, dunks it. Like, we need that. So he's, like when we played St. John's, the size hurt us. We're going to play a New Mexico State who's big, a Boise, a San Diego State. Like, we got to have that option. So certainly trending in the right direction.
And then obviously, it's probably some more basketball questions, but I will ask the big news around these parts is Bronco's decision last night, and I guess officially this morning. Bronco Mendenhall has moved on to coach at Utah State. Your thoughts on just a 1-year sort of getting to know and experience with Bronco, and also what that football opening means to the whole program and to you guys.
Yeah, I wish Bronco well. Got to know him, really, really liked him. I think we saw growth this year in a lot of facets. I think, for him, he's got his children, I believe, at BYU. I think he's got a ranch in Montana, which I think geographically is closer to Utah. I don't know where Montana is on a map half the time, but I think it is. So, he made the decision that's best for himself, his family. We're in a unique time. Obviously, we have a new athletic director. I don't know. I tend to get a little bit frustrated when people always say football drives the bus. Maybe I'm just being selfish. I don't know. But I think that men's basketball does a lot. And I think whenever people constantly say football is king, it diminishes and devalues college basketball. I really believe that. So I know on our end what we're doing. From a basketball perspective. From a football perspective, obviously Fernando, his staff, they're going to have to figure out who they can hire because we're moving into a new conference and all those things. So I know we want to be good. I hope we're good in every sport. I really do. So I trust that they'll hire somebody great. And, I know people are frustrated whenever somebody comes for 1 year and leaves. But part of the profession, and I know whoever they will hire in about a week or two. Everybody will be excited about that moving forward.
And what about it to his farewell speech the other day? He talked about how he's been a head coach for 18 years, and every single year he would have someone approach him. It's just the nature of the business. I'm sure that same thing happens to you, but how hectic is the offseason? Because he talked about how December on paper should be the best month for a football coach because the season's ending and you can kind of move on, but he doesn't like December.
I would say I've been a head coach 13 years, and I have not been approached by schools every year. We won 8 games my 3rd year, and Minnesota, and nobody wanted to hire me. So it's a really hard kind of game that the coaches have to play. Nobody feels sorry for coaches. We're like the least sympathetic figures on the planet. I understand that. But, what do you want these coaches to do when they get up there? To me, be mad if a coach doesn't pour his heart and soul into it and then leaves. It's like JT leaving last year. Like, the guy helped us go to an NCAA tournament. He advanced his career. More power to him. So it's just really, it's a challenging thing because when you win, I'm not going to sit up here and say I want to be here forever. Like, I have no idea what the future holds. Like, I really like where I'm at right now. I greatly appreciate the fans. I greatly appreciate the pit. I love the Mountain West, although it's changing. But so many things change. I mean, athletic directors change, people change, and so on. So, like, I don't think coaches are as bad at people as everybody says they are when they leave. Sometimes there's questions that just can't be answered. So it's always hard. You have a really good season, everybody thinks you're going to leave, it hurts you in recruiting. You have a really bad season, everybody thinks you're going to be fired, and it hurts you in recruiting. So you try to stabilize it as best you can, but sometimes there's not much you can do.
We kind of backtrack a little bit to basketball, going back to the game the other night. Closer than I'm sure some people expected, but it is a conference game. They're going to be competitive. Was that a wake-up call for this team, or was it just one of these things where San Jose State's better than people thought?
It's become a little bit more challenging because of Ken Pom and net and spreads, where if you don't cover those, all of a sudden now you have to apologize for not winning by enough points. That's kind of been the new norm. Do I think we played great? No, I do not in the first half at all. I told our team yesterday before film, I said, you ever texting and driving, and then all of a sudden you almost get in a crash, and then you put your phone down and you go, all right, I'm going to stop doing that. That's what we did, really. I mean, we were not ready to go down 17-4, right? 14-3, I believe it was, or whatever. I mean, so certainly that's all on me to get them out of this locker room and get them ready to go, as well as the players. It's not all my fault. It's everybody's responsibility. So just an understanding that all the games are going to be hard, and also an understanding of we did win last year, and we now have a little bit of a target on our back because we had some success, and with that comes a lot of responsibility, and we gotta certainly, especially in this building. I'm not going to apologize for winning a league game, but the way we started, certainly we've got to be better.
I want to kind of backtrack you to the.
Sure, a lot of backtracking going on right now.
He not playing. What does that mean then for your depth at the bottom?
Yeah, we're going to have to look at. We're hopeful he could still play, because it's his left hand. But
Is he right-handed? I don't even know.
yeah, he's right-handed. But he's been productive in his limited minutes. He's been really, really productive. So we'll look at Sacco. We'll look at Jovan, see if they can give us something there. But I mean, yeah, that's hopefully that's not a long. Hopefully he plays tomorrow. We'll see, but we need him.
And then the starts of games, I wouldn't say have been a big trend necessarily, but the start of the last game wasn't very good, and there were a couple other first halves that weren't quite as good. Is that, you've talked about teams coming into the pit being up for it, and maybe your guys sometimes playing it every time, or every home game, obviously. Is that part of it, or is there something else going on that maybe could generate a better start for you guys?
It's a hard question. Coaches look at it, they overanalyze it. Is it the warm up? Is it, you never really know, all those little things. But at the end of the day, man, like, be ready to go, be ready to compete. So I'm not sure if it's one thing. If I did, I would certainly, fix it. But I do know we got to be better. And at the beginning of those games, there's a stress level of playing in this building, even for us. We don't want to let our fans down. And our fans are very, very loud and passionate in a good way. But I think sometimes there can be a little bit of, oh my goodness, what's happening? And I'm not blaming the fans. Like, I get it. But I think we got to figure out that part of it too, because there was certainly a stress level in that game. But you fix that by playing with great effort and all those things. So, yeah, that's a problem starting a game in that drought. But some of it was missed layups and things like that. So we gotta be better coming out of the locker room somehow.
And my wife's one of those fans. She freaks out when you guys.
Stressful situation.
You guys fall behind 15-3, and she's texting me. Like,
Yeah. No, I know. It's a blessing, but there is a tax you pay for it.
Look, we know the start of the season, the first few games maybe went a certain way, but you've been playing the last couple games maybe the way fans thought you were going to play from the start when you were a starter. Are you in a different spot now mentally and confidence-wise than you were in those first few games?
Yeah, definitely, I would say. It was probably a little hard after 2 years of not playing to like get adjusted and everything, but after a few games, I think I'm getting my confidence back and just trying to play as hard as possible to help our team win, and that's it.
From our perspective, from fans' perspective, they see you on the court, and when you weren't producing maybe in those games when you were starting, we just assume he needs confidence, or there's he's timid out there is a word that I know we've come up with a lot. What was it that you weren't maybe asserting yourself as much in those first few games?
I was probably just a little bit like stiff, like tight and everything, and probably a little bit scared of a mistake and everything because after not playing, as I said, like 2 years and everything. But I think with the games just going and going, I think I'm just getting my confidence back and trying to play better every day.
All right, and then confidence comes from there's plays that you can see confidence now. You're doing a spin move on the basket down there in the first half, layup, you do a pump fake, and then you go dunk it. Like, it seems like now you're playing with confidence that you show in practice. Do you feel on the court now a level of confidence that is new for you?
Yeah, 100%, and I don't feel as tight anymore, I think, and my teammates, Donovan, mainly as a point guard, tries to find me as well, so I'm just happy to play with guys like them and happy to play for this team.
Yeah, it's funny what a slam dunk can do to energize a crowd and change their perception of a player. Like we saw what Braden did in California. Your move the other night where you drive in and throw one down really brought the crowd into it. Do you feel that energy when you do it, or are you even aware of the crowd?
Yeah, 100% I'm aware. I just feel the crowd going crazy, and I'm just really excited and thankful for what they're doing, and they're showing up, and obviously one of the best fan bases in the college basketball, and I just can't be more thankful for them, and that's it.
So we're starting to see glimpses of the player that you are. We've seen you in practice do those things, but when a fan looks at you on the court and you're starting to come out of your shell, the confidence is there. What kind of player can they expect? Is it a dribble, drive? Do you create your own shot? What can they look for?
I just think I can do everything when I play with confidence. I can drive off the dribble or wait for my teammates to find me and do my best, or I find my teammates as well. So whatever it needs to be at the moment, in the best play it is, I'll just try to do that, and that's it.
I know you've been in some pretty exciting environments. I mean, Arizona brings a lot of people, but tomorrow night will be the first time you have a chance to be in this building when it really comes to life. What are your thoughts about tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't think it's the first time when it comes to life. I think it was pretty good before, but yeah, I heard it's like a rivalry game, obviously, and really important for our team and our fans. And I just can't wait, and I'm really excited to play tomorrow's game and bring the energy and try to help our team win, and that's the most important thing.
You said it over the summer in one of the interviews that we did, a little scrum with you, but remind me who your favorite player is.
I have Milos Teodosic. He's a Serbian player. He used to play in NBA. Also now plays in EuroLeague. Mostly his career played in EuroLeague, but yeah.
And are you similar to him? I mean, I know that's putting you on the spot, but do you think you do similar things, maybe at a different level, but are you similar to how he plays?
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm trying, and I used to watch his highlights when I was my old childhood and trying to pass like him and everything. But yeah, obviously he's like high-level player, and I'm trying to get there. Yeah.
So you're a guy that can pass, obviously. You're a big guard and all that. You mentioned a little while ago about Donovan and his role in maybe helping you get to where you need to be. When you're playing with Donovan, how much do you see him on the court helping other guys? And even not just you, maybe from the bench you see it, but how often is Donovan doing something that is helping somebody else on the court? Not just with a good pass, but he knows he has to get that guy going or something like that.
Yeah, it's just great. I think he's obviously one of the best passers in college basketball, one of the best point guards in college basketball, so he's just really great playing with a guy like that, who can find your teammates whenever it needs to be, and he can just feel it probably when some guy gets going, and he finds him again and again, and then just team starts going, and it's just great playing with a guy like that, and you can't ask for a better teammate than that.
Good.
Good.
Yeah. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, guys.